In this video, I'm going to go over the location and security restrictions setup in your OnTheClock account on a web browser. So to go ahead and get started, you'll want to log into your OnTheClock account. To set up the employee restriction in their profile, click on the employee icon up top, and then go ahead and select the employee that you wish to set this up for. You'll want to choose the location and security section right here of their employee profile. You'll have 5 different restriction types that you get to choose from. The first one we have is mobile rules and GPS. So with this section, you have the ability to enable or disable the mobile punch. If you do enable this, it's going to ask you to select a mobile rule. You have the ability to say do not record GPS coordinates, record GPS coordinates, record GPS and require the GPS for the employee to punch. You can also record the GPS and warn if the employee is not at the approved punch location, as well as record the GPS and do not allow the punch if the employee is not at the approved GPS punch location. Once you've selected that rule, you also have the ability to turn on app GPS tracking. This allows you to have a breadcrumb dropped every 200 meters of movement, and you will see that reflected on the punch map. Our next restriction type that we have is IP authorization. To enable IP authorization, go ahead and turn that on. You have 2 different enforcement level types. You have warn employees, so if they are not punching from an approved IP address, then a warning will be sent to both employee and employer. And you can also choose to lock out the employee if they are not punching at the approved IP address. For enforcement type, we have IP, subnet, sub-subnet, IP range, as well as multi-IP range. So for example, if you have multiple IP addresses that you would like your employees to be able to punch in and out from that are approved, what you'll do is just enter the IP address here, and then enter it again, and then go ahead and tap add. You'll go ahead and repeat this process for the to and from, and then once you have gone ahead and added them, you will see them in this box right here. Our next restriction that we have is device and browser authorization. So you can go ahead and enable this. Once you have enabled this inside of the employee's profile, you will see that an employee, when they are punching, any listed devices they have punched from will be listed here. You can go ahead and see when they last used that device. And then you can also, with this toggle button that will be here, you can enable or disable punching from that device. Please know that in this type of situation, if an employee has not yet punched on any device, nothing will show up. So you're going to go ahead and wait for an employee to punch on a specific device before you go ahead and turn this on. If an employee has not punched on a device yet and you have enabled this setting, this will go ahead and disable them from punching on anything. So you're going to want to go ahead and wait for them to punch once before you turn on this restriction right here. You will see that again listed, and you can allow punching for that device. Our next restriction type that we have is fingerprint sign-on. So we have a couple different options. We have the option for on or on fingerprint only. So on, an employee can punch with their fingerprint or anything else that you have listed here. If you select on and fingerprint only, they will only be able to punch with their fingerprint with the URU 4500 USB device that we have authorized for OnTheClock. Any fingerprints that they happen to have on file will be listed here as well for you to see. It is recommended that you take at least 1 fingerprint from each hand of the employee to have on file for punching. Our last location and security restriction that we have is desktop GPS rules. You can go ahead and turn this on to record the punch location of the desktop or laptop computer that is being used. It is recommended though that if you are going to go with an option like this and you are again looking to lock them down to a specific desktop or laptop computer, then go ahead and use the specific device and browser authorization section. This is going to be a very broad type of rule, and if you're looking for something more specific, make sure you choose that device and browser. After you have gone through each of these different restrictions that we offer and you pick the one that best suits your company needs, go ahead and press Save Settings once done. Now that I've pressed Saved, my employee profile has been updated. Something to note, if you are looking to apply the same punching restrictions to all of your employees listed and you don't want to have to go through each of these employee profiles one by one and set this up, I would recommend going the route of an employee group. So to set up an employee group with these punch restrictions, just go to Settings, Employee Groups, and then you can go ahead, add that employee group, and under the Location and Security section, set up the restrictions that you would like. Once you have saved that employee group, inside of the employee profile, you will be able to go under General and then assign them to that specific employee group. If you would like to learn more about setting up an employee group, please reference our employee group setup video. If you have any other questions on how to set up the location and security restrictions for an employee, feel free to live chat with us or send us an email to support@ontheclock.com.